The topic I would like to sort of see at the event would be something around education. Obviously, that's from my background, and I'd like to see how developers in the mainstream can support educators to create rich content that truly engages our learners, and how those two kind of worlds can come together in a sort of a mutually beneficial way. So something around how education and the mainstream 3D development world can sort of work together. So that would be my topic. In terms of two people, I've been thinking hard about this one. I think a couple of projects that have really caught my eye recently in terms of 3D and perhaps have some parallels to how we work in education and the networks that we use is a project from the Barcelona streets, which was a group called Blab Lab Lab. It's a tough one to say, but it's a group of people that created this project that was almost like an art piece on the streets, on La Ramblas, and it was called I Am the Souvenir, or you take your souvenir with you. And basically it was a project that used Kinect cameras to capture a physical space where a tourist or somebody visiting would be standing, and they would strike a pose, the cameras would look at them, and then a 3D printer would create this tiny little souvenir. So it would be a souvenir of yourself. And I thought that was a lovely idea about how you can access that sort of technology, and it was a combination of those things to do with gaming, free open source software, as well as sort of the physical object, which I quite like, that combination between the kind of digital space and a physical space, which is kind of, I think, very important in learning and how we connect learners together. And the second people that I think, is somebody who is really kind of striking a kind of a revolutionary step in terms of the way they're using 3D, and that's a guy called Tim Hubert, and he's a filmmaker in America, and he is basically crowdsourcing the creation of a film. And he's using open source software such as Blender, and he's basically opening out the process. The production, the crew are from all over the world, and they're all contributing their part to this greater project. And the film's called Project London, and it really struck me because he was accessing a network of people, and that network, we're going to create something together. So I would choose those two. Okay, my name is Tom Barrett. I'm a senior consultant for NoTosh Limited. We work with digital media and learning, and my relevance with this and this whole project is about engaging learners, and 3D is a part and parcel of that kind of rich platform that teachers and educators should be utilising in order to engage children with learning. I think one of the things that we need to see more is the accessibility of these sorts of technologies, not just to niche kind of groups, but to a wider group. So I'm interested in to sort of see how, again, young learners or learners in general will be able to access these technologies without the constraints of a particular device or a particular set of skills getting in the way. That said, it's obviously important to then have a general ethos about encouraging kind of the future development of young kind of skilled programmers and that sort of thing. So in my kind of utopia or my future, I think it would be great to sort of see the kind of the accessibility of 3D, allowing most mainstream teachers access it. A couple of examples spring to mind. I mean, that have had an impact on some of the things I've been doing. For example, in Google Earth, there's a layer within Google Earth that has been created called Ancient Rome. And so the Google team created a 3D model of Ancient Rome. And it allows you to access, some of the interiors have been modelled as well, so you're able to zoom into the interiors of some of these ancient buildings from like 320 AD. And it was built around a real physical model that was built from 1930 onwards to about 1970 in Rome. And they basically composited the physical model into something that was then accessible via Google Earth. And obviously things like Google Earth now being driven in the browser allow learners to access those sorts of things. And that sort of model has certainly led to kind of really engaging get real engagement in learning and in that sort of respect. And perhaps another, just a simple example, is just the idea of adding layers of 3D around us in our spaces. So something like Layer, which is a great app for mobile, and I'm quite interested to see how those sorts of tools can help places like this, like schools, add layers of information for different types of stakeholders and different types of users.